Hello, my dear students. A very warm good morning to all. Let's start our English class. In the previous video, we have discussed lesson number 5, the 100 dresses 1. I hope that you all read the lesson and wrote the answers of the activity questions. Let me call back your memory on the session that we finished in the first part. Okay. Wanda Petronsky was an Irish girl who lived with her family in America. Her friends always make fun of her, mainly Peggy and Maddie. It was Monday. Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. Nobody, including Peggy and Madeline, saw her absence. They started all the fun. Wanda used to sit in the next to the last seat in the last row. It was in room number 13. She sat in the corner of the room. Rough boys usually sat there. Wanda was a very quiet girl. She rarely said something. No one had ever heard her laugh out loud. She used to sit there. No one knew why she sat there. It was because she came from Boggins Heights. Her feet had mud on them. Boggin Heights is a place in which the poor people are living, and the place is mostly covered with mud. The students thought of Wanda only outside the school hours. They waited for her to have fun with her going to or coming from home. And Wanda did not come to school on Tuesday also. On Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie thought of Wanda. They sat in the front and they got good marks. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school and Maddie was her closest friend. They wanted to have fun with Wanda. Because of that, they came late to school. That is why they noticed the absence of Wanda, and most of the children in room number 13 didn't have names like Wanda Petronsky. She has a rare name. They had American names like Thomas, Smith, L. Allen, etc. And one of the boys has a name with William Bounce, and the students considered that name as a funny. But the students make fun with Wanda because of her strange name. And Wanda didn't have any friends. She always wore a faded blue colored dress. And the dress was clean, but it was not ironed properly. The dress has some wrinkles on it. A lot of girls talked to Wanda. That means they surrounded her in the schoolyard while she was watching hopscotch. And Peggy would make fun of Wanda. Peggy asked a question to Wanda in a most courteous way. What was the question? That important question of this chapter that Peggy is asking to Wanda is how many dresses she had in her closet. Closet means almara or cupboard. How many dresses you have in your closet. Up to that we have discussed in the last video, and today we are going to know what is the reply of Wanda for this question. What was the reply of Wanda for this question? Okay students, you can open your textbook and we can start now. 100, Wanda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yeah, 100, all lined up, said Wanda. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. Then they had let her go. And then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. So in the previous class, we have discussed about the question which was asked by Peggy to Wanda to make her fun. What was the question? How many dresses are there in your closet? And now we can understand the reply of Wanda. What was her reply? For the question of Peggy, Wanda is saying that I have 100 dresses. 100 dresses are there. Hearing this, Peggy and her friends become unbelievable. Incredulously means showing unwillingness to believe. They did not believe the answer of Wanda. For a surprise, they said that 100. And the little ones, those who are playing hopscotch, they also listened to Wanda. And Wanda is again repeating that, yeah, hundreds and all are lined up. Lined up means properly keeping. Then her thin lips drew together, and after giving this reply, Wanda closed her mouth. But Peggy is asking again. Peggy is making fun with Wanda again, whether that dresses are silk or violet. Peggy is asking, is it silk? Then what is the reply of Wanda? Wanda again said that, yes, it is silk and having all colors. Again, Peggy is asking, velvet? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Wanda would repeat stolidly. Stolidly means not showing any feeling. With innocence in her face, Wanda is saying that, yes, 100 dresses and all lined up in my closet. All the dresses are neatly kept in my closet, cupboard, or almara or wardrobe. So hearing this, all the other children let her go, let Wanda go. And then before she had gone very far, they started laughing at her. They started making the fun. They know that Wanda was a poor family member, so she did not have such 100 dresses with her, but even her answer about the 100 dresses which was all lined up in her cupboard make the other children laughing at her. When Wanda gave this reply, and after that when she gone, the children bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. They have started laughing at Wanda. Okay. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. So why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. So when Wanda's reply, she has 100 dresses and all are lined up in her closet, make the school and make the children thinking that it was obviously a rubbish one. That means Wanda had always wearing a blue faded dress. So why Wanda is saying that she had 100 dresses? And what type of a story is this? Children are talking to themselves about Wanda's reply in a surprise way. For that, they are asking again another question with Wanda. What was the next question? How many shoes did you say you had? Wanda, how many shoes did you have? And what is the reply of Wanda for that question? 60 pairs, and all are lined up in my closet. Wanda is saying that I have 60 pairs of shoes and all are lined in my wardrobe. So hearing this, cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. The students are again making fun with Wanda and asking that All alike. All are alike. All the shoes are alike. Then Vanda's reply, no, every pair is different. I have different pairs, different types of 60 pairs shoes. All colors, all lined up. All are neatly lined up in my cupboard and I have all colors. Every pair is different. That is a reply of Vanda regarding the question of how many shoes did she had. So in this way, Vanda is giving the answers for the two questions. First one is how many dresses you have, and Vanda is saying the reply that I have 100 dresses and all are lined up in my closet. And for making fun with Vanda, the friends is asking again, the students is asking again the question, how many pairs of shoes you have? And Vanda's reply is, I have 60 pairs, different all colors and all are lined up in my closet. Okay. Peggy, who had thought about this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Vanda would move up to the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. So after making the fun, all the children left Vanda, and Peggy, who had thought about this game of fun. Peggy was the girl who had thought about making fun with Vanda, and her inseparable friend Maddie were always the last to leave Vanda. So after making fun with Vanda, all the other children left and Peggy and Maddie were the last who leave Vanda. And finally Vanda would move up the street, her eyes always dull and her mouth closed, without telling anything, Vanda hitching her left shoulder every now and then in a funny way she had. She had a funny way of hitching her shoulders, and after saying this reply, finishing the walk to school alone. Vanda, go to school alone. Already I told you that they are making fun with Vanda when she is coming to school or when she is going back to home. So after making the funny thing or funny questions with Vanda, all the other children left Vanda. At last Peggy and Maddie left Vanda and alone Vanda walked to school. Okay. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Vanda? She would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. And in this paragraph, we can understand that Peggy was not a real cruel girl. She protected small children from bullies. Bullies means those who use their strength or power to frighten Fika people. And she cried for hours if she happened to see an animal which is mistreated. That means Peggy was not a cruel girl. And if anybody is asking Peggy, why you are making fun with Vanda, and don't you think that it was a cruel act that you are doing with Vanda, then Peggy would say in a surprise, cruel. And Peggy had a question with that person, and what was her question? Why did Vanda always saying that she had 100 dresses? Everyone know that she was telling lie. And why did she is telling lie? That is Peggy's reply when anyone asking Peggy why you are making such a cruel thing with Vanda. Then Peggy is saying that why Vanda is saying that she had 100 dresses and everyone know that that was a lie and why Wanda is saying a lie. And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Wanda was an ordinary person, and why she is having such a name? That is also a question for Peggy. Why Wanda is telling about the 100 dresses? Why Wanda is telling a lie? And why she has an ordinary? She has a different name. Anyway, Peggy never make Wanda cry. They are asking some funny questions with Wanda, but they never make Wanda cry. Okay. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hearts and how many this and that she had was bothering her. Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggin Heights for have a funny name. So in the last paragraph, we understood the character of Peggy. Peggy was not at all a cruel girl. She was making fun with Wanda because the reply of Wanda, isn't it? And in this paragraph, we can understand the character of Maddie. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses you have, how many hats, how many pairs of shoes, how many this and that, and Maddie was not want to bothering Wanda. Maddie was also a poor girl and she is usually wearing somebody's hand-me-down clothes. What is hand-me-down clothes? Old clothes handed down by someone else. So she is also a poor girl. Maddie is also a poor girl and she is wearing somebody's hand-me-down clothes. And for thank goodness, Maddie didn't live upon Boggin Heights. Maggie was not living on Boggin Heights and she did not have a funny name like Wanda. So Maddie is also poor like Wanda. The difference between Maddie and Wanda is that Maddie is not living in Boggin Heights and she did not have a funny name. Okay. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself. And meanwhile, when Peggy was asking Wanda those silly questions in a very mocking way, what did Maddie doing at that time? Maddie felt embarrassed. She was become very irritated and she is examining the marbles, examining the stones in her palms and rolling that stones and she is saying nothing. That means she says nothing to Wanda. She never asked a question to Wanda. Not that she felt sorry for Wanda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game. So Maddie did not have any attention, did not give any attention to Wanda. She never felt sorry for Wanda. Why? She would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy didn't invented this dress game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. So that is the problem of Maddie. That is why Maddie is not saying anything to Peggy for stopping this funny game with Wanda. Peggy has a fear in her mind, that is Peggy and the other children started in on her next. That means after Wanda, Peggy and the other children will make fun with Maddie because she was also poor. She wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. And for Maddie was not so as poor as Wanda, but she was a poor girl. Okay, Maddie is also a poor girl, and of course, when they are asking about her about the dress, when the children are asking Maddie about the dress, she will not answer like that, I have 100 dresses. Still, she would not like for them to begin with her. Maddie did not want to make a fun of, Maddie did not want to be a funny character before her friends. Even though she wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky, Maddie has a mind in her that Peggy should stop this teasing. Peggy should stop this fun making with Wanda Petronsky. Okay. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly. 8 times 8, let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note, because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy to say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." So today, on Wednesday, even though they are not late to school, why they are not late to school? Because Wanda was absent that day and they don't get a chance to make fun of her. So they were not late to school. Maddie was glad she had not had to make fun of Wanda. Maddie was feeling very happy because she was not had made fun of Wanda, and she was working with an arithmetical problem with an absent-mindedly, and she is telling that 8 times 8, let's see, like that. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note. So Maddie wished to write a note to Peggy. What was the note? Because why she is thinking that she want to write a note to Peggy? Because Maddie knew that she never would have the courage to say Peggy. That is why she is planning to write a note to Peggy, because she did not have the courage to say anything to Peggy. And what she want to say? "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." So Maddie want to stop this teasing with Wanda. So for that, she is planning to write a note to Peggy, because she has not the courage to say anything to Peggy. And what she want to write? She want to write the note that they want to stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has. When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. So after finishing her arithmetical problem, Peggy started to write the note to Maddie started to write the note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. Shuddered means surprised, bewildered. Why? She pictured herself. She is seeing that she is in the schoolyard and the other children are surrounding her and they are making fun with Maddie instead of Wanda. So that is why she stopped her note. Okay. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had on, and Maddie would have to say it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings so no one in room 13 would recognize it. So when Maddie is starting write the note, she become shuddered and she paused the note and she is imagining that she was standing in the ground and Peggy and other children is asking question to her. And what was the question? Peggy might ask her, "From where you got this dress?" And Maddie would say that it was one which is Peggy's old one and that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with never new trimmings so no one in room 13 would recognize it. So that is why Maddie not write the note, because Maddie note that the dress that is wearing by Maddie is the dress that is given by Peggy, and her mother, Maddie's mother, had to try to disguise with it new trimmings. So no one in room 13 would recognize that it was a dress used by Peggy. So already we know that Maddie was a poor girl and she is wearing somebody's hand-me-down clothes, isn't it? So who is giving the clothes to Maddie? Maddie is using the hand-me-down clothes of Peggy, and Peggy knows that Maddie is wearing such a clothes, and when Maddie is going to ask Peggy to stop the game with Wanda, then Peggy will surely ask, from where you got, Maddie, from where you got the dress? And nobody in room 13 knows that this was the dress Maddie is wearing was the hand-me-down clothes of Peggy, and Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with the new trimmings, new stitchings on it, so that no one would recognize that this dress was of Peggy's. Okay. So my dear children, let me again tell the section what we have learned today. Okay. Peggy would make fun of Wanda. She would ask her how many dresses she had in her almara or closet. Then Wanda would say 100. Then all the girls would stop playing and listen. The girls would ask if they were of silk or velvet. Wanda would reply in positively that they have silk. She had silk and velvet dresses. They would further ask Wanda how many pairs of shoes she had. For that, she would say 60 pairs. Then they would laugh and laugh. Peggy was not a cruel girl. She protected small children from bullies. If somebody asked her if she didn't behave cruelly with Wanda, she would reply differently. What is the reply? She would say why Wanda had spoken of her 100 dresses. She would say that Wanda was not an ordinary person, and her name suggested that, but the girls never made Wanda cry. Maddie felt it bad that they had been bothering Wanda like that. It was because, like Wanda, Maddie herself was a poor girl. But she neither lived in Boggin Heights nor had a funny name like that of Wanda. When Peggy asked Wanda those questions, Maddie would feel very bad. She would study the marbles, the stones in her hand, but she did not feel sorry for Wanda. She wished Peggy stop asking Wanda about dresses. She was Peggy's closest friend. That day, both Peggy and Maddie were late to school. Maddie was glad that Wanda was not made fun of. She was working out her arithmetical problems. She lacked courage to ask Peggy stop making fun of Wanda, so she wanted to write Peggy a note about it. Maddie started writing that note to Peggy. Suddenly she shook. She pictured herself in the schoolyard as a new target for Peggy and other girls. Peggy might ask her about her dress. She would say that it was one of Peggy's old ones and her mother had trimmed it so that no one would recognize it. So that is why Maddie is not ready to write the note to Peggy. Okay. So my dear children, let's wind up for today. You have to read the lesson carefully and try to write the activity questions in your ref book. Okay. See you in the next class. Take care. Be safe. Thank you.